Hello. Let's investigate Google Gemini and see how we can utilize their API in our code. I will put the link of all of the resources that I mentioned in the description of this video. They have a free tier plan to use Google Gemini, which is more than enough for starters. And also you need to have a Google developers account and set up your Google Cloud platform, which is pretty simple, just a few clicks. After that, you need to go to Google AI Studio here. There, you need to click on the Get API Key, basically create API Key. You will either select one of the projects in your Google Cloud platform or it will create a new one. I will use an existing one and create API key in existing project. It will give me the key and I will copy it, go to the code, and I will first create a .env file and say Google API key equals to the value that we got. Then I will create a Python script, let's say text generation. First of all, let's load the API key as a variable. So from .env import load.env, then call it. Then I would say Google API key is os.get env Google API key and import the OS package. Now we need to import Google Generative AI, Google.generative AI as gen AI, and we need to initialize the JI with the API key. So configure API key equals to Google API key. Pretty simple. Now we need the model. So model equals to GenAI.generative model, and the model name would be, they have apparently so far they have two models, Gemini Flash and Gemini Pro. Gemini Flash, based on their documentation, is supposed to be fast. Gemini Pro, probably not as fast as Flash, but it has more advanced feature, which we will use one of them in this video. So I would say that Gemini dash 1.5 dash Flash. This is the model. Now I would say response equals to model.generate content, and I will simply provide a prompt to it. Now based on the time, I'm going to get some statistics about the upcoming Olympics in a few days. So give me some fun facts about Olympics 2024. Let's see. And then I simply print response.text and I run this code. There are some warnings which are not important. So the model responds with some apparently fun facts, and it's a normal text structure. Good. But in order to use it in the code, I want it to be like a list of strings, or let's say some more structured, so I can use their model back and forth inside the code. So I need to provide some configurations to the model. So I would say, before actually initializing the model, I would say config equals to GenAI.generation config, which is response MIME type application JSON, and response schema is a list of string would do the trick. It can be more complicated, dictionary type, a list of dictionary, or anything that you want. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to give it a ask actually for a list of a string. I have a video about OpenAI, and as far as I know, Well, we can get a JSON response, which is good, but we cannot tell it exactly how to structure that response, JSON object. This configuration response schema is more advanced, I would say. It will help us come up with a more reliable code. Now, the model actually should not be Flash anymore because this configuration, response MIME type and response schema, needs Gemini Pro. And also we need to provide the config to, I think it should be generation config equals to the config that we mentioned. Now here, instead of saying give me, I would say list not some, let's say 7 fun facts about the Olympics 2024. Now, before actually running and printing the text, we know that it's actually a JSON string. So let's say import JSON, and let's say response JSON equals to JSON.loads response.text. Now it's actually a Python dictionary. Now I want to print it, so in order to print it in a more human readable way, so I would say JSON.dumps response.json with indent2, which is enough. So this part JSON.dumps is just solely to beautify the response. Okay, now it's giving me a list of some strings. Actually, let's run it in debug mode and put a breakpoint here and see actually if it's indeed a list of a string in Python. So response JSON is a list of strings. The 2024 Summer Olympics will be held in Paris, France. This will be the third time Paris has hosted the Summer Olympics after 1924, and some other fun facts. Well, I don't know how fun it is, but anyway. That's good. That's about the text generation. Simple. If you go to the documentation, they have different capabilities, vision, which we will look into in a few moments. They have audio, transcription, and everything. So let's choose vision as well. So actually, let's copy this part of the code and go have a new Python script. This one I will call it vision and paste the code. Now, sorry. Now what I want to do, I have this image. I will upload this image using the Google API library, and I will ask the model to describe this image for me. Let's see. First of all, we need to use GenAI.upload file, I believe. Before this, let's define the file path. No need to get it from environment variables. I would say resources paris.jpg is the file that I have. So I will simply provide the file path. And the display name, I would call it Paris Olympics. It's not that big of a deal. And actually, file would be the response. Now let's print something. Let's say name equals to file.name, display name equals to file.displayName, and I just want to know the URI of the file.uri, and let's run this. So it seems the file is actually uploaded, and I have this file name, which is a unique name. I will use it. Now, when I want to run the script again, I don't want to keep uploading the file. So what we can do is that instead of uploading the file, we can use the feature file equals to genai.getFile with the file name. Fortunately, I copy file name equals to this value that we just copied from the results. So I would say file name. It should give us, let's run it to make sure that we are getting the right file. Yes. Now, very easily, we can say model equals to GenAI, the generative model. Let's use the Flash, actually Gemini dash 1.5 dash Flash. And now let's say response equals to model dot generate content. Here we will provide a list. One is the file, the second is the prompt. I would say describe the image, and then simply let's print response dot text. Reformat the code and run it. Yeah. The image is a colorful, stylized illustration celebrating the 2024 Paris Olympics. Interesting. Pretty simple, just a few lines of code. We use the generation, we use the vision. Now let's go to audio, let's say transcript. I do not want this part to be transcribed. This is a test to see how precise Google Gemini audio capabilities are. This part also should not be transcribed. Man, I recorded a voice memo and I want only part of it to be transcribed. Let's see how we can do this. First, let's copy this part. Have a new Python script. Let's call it audio. Paste. What we need is the file path equals to resources audio audio test.mp3 GenAI dot configure API key equals to Google API key model, before model actually, file equals to GenAI dot upload file path. The model would be GenAI dot generative model name. Let's use Gemini Flash. I believe it works with audio. No need to use Pro. And simply response is model dot generate content, a list of first the file that we uploaded and the prompt, provide the transcript of the audio from, I know it's from 11th second to the 19th. Then let's print response.text. So simple. This is a test to see how precise Google Gemini's audio capabilities are. I believe that's enough for this video. I will put the link of the documentations of Google Gemini in the description of this video. You can investigate the capabilities and features that it has. I really enjoyed. I hope the same for you. Have a good one.